Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Doing Business in Bentonville. My name is Andy Wilson, and I am the Executive Director of Doing Business in Bentonville. And today is a very, very exciting podcast for me because two reasons. Omni-Channel and supply chain, that's one. But number two, my friend Perry Johnson is sitting across from me, and we have a history together. We go back a long ways, of course, Walmart. So Perry Johnson, welcome to Doing Business in Bentonville.
Happy to be here, Andy. It's exciting to be across the table talking about both of these topics and to see you as well.
Right. I think most of my work with Perry was when I was running a operating region, and I would have whatever issues, but Perry was the guy sitting there always willing to help solve the supply issues to get our stores in stock. So thank you for doing that.
Absolutely. And there's always plenty of those going around. So A lot to do and always reaching out and getting it done.
Well, you're right. So again, thank you for being here, taking time. And before we get into this very important topic on omni-channel supply chain, Perry, we got to catch everybody up on your vast amount of experience and why don't you just talk to us a bit about what you're doing, what have you done all these wonderful years, and then what are you focusing on today?
Yeah, Andy, well, let's count it up. I don't know if I should, but so 45 years in retail logistics total, currently with Hub Group, serving as Senior Director of Transportation Solutions. So you talked about solutions. It's it's a core of what I do. 35 years of that with Walmart. And when you grow up with Walmart, what's really neat about that, starting with a company that had around 200 stores, not knowing that we were going to be a big company, then it took transportation, logistics from something being small to a medium-sized company to a very large company. So you get a large education with being part of Walmart and growing up with it. So fortunate to have worked on the retail side of logistics, and now the last 10 years been involved with this inbound into Walmart, serving all of these CPG companies. So exciting part of it. Company that I work for, Hub Group, over 50 years of intermodal service across North America. They've done some really smart acquisitions lately, which is really good to see. They become a more full logistics company. And as part of that, they have an arm that does consolidation, shipping to retailers. They do truck LTL brokerage, which takes care of extra capacity in the marketplace. E-commerce, warehouse fulfillment, something they wouldn't have done many years ago, but here it is. Final mile delivery, delivering items into customer homes. And then they have an asset and dedicated trucking. So, again, not just an intermodal company, but now a full-service logistics company. Makes it exciting.
Well, it is exciting, and I'm so proud that you're able to spend your time with a great company doing great work, something that you're passionate about, because I remember your passion around logistics and supply chain. And, today we're gonna talk and get into the details around supply chain and omni-channel and that connectivity of that integration of that, if you will. So, Perry, you said something. We got to grow up at Walmart, didn't we?
Yeah, right.
Totally. Both of us grew up there, 30 plus years. And when I started, we had 120 stores. In fact, I was assistant manager at store 120, I think it was, somewhere in Mississippi.
Correct.
But we did grow up there, and phenomenal. Who would have thought that we'd had an opportunity from a small chain, if you will, to the largest retail company, and we got to be part of that and see all of that. There's not a day that I don't wake up and say, I'm a blessed person to be able to have experienced something like that.
That's exactly right. When I first started walking in the halls of the general office at the time, really in high school is when I got started, but I was helping out in the home office. to see it grow up and to grow. It didn't have any aspect that it would be the largest, right?
Right, none.
We were so blessed to be here and grow up with it, for sure.
Well, we talked about how Walmart has changed. And the thing that Sam Walton taught us, and you and I heard him say it a million times, the most consistent thing at Walmart is change. He said that over and over, didn't he?
Yes, sir, he did.
He taught us that, and if you didn't like change, you probably didn't stay around very long. So let's get into our discussion today, because we talk about change. We talked about all that how Walmart has changed. So let's talk to us today about how logistics has evolved, if you will, and into this omni-channel process. So walk us through that, okay?
It has been an evolution of the supply chain. It's been fascinating to see it over the life of general merchandise retailing. We take the days before online buying was occurring. You had to walk into the store to buy your product. And now we have all types of the online buying. Today's omni-channel shopping. The logistics of getting product from manufacturer to the customer is constantly changing. And it's what I love about the supply chain business and why I can still be in it so many years later and still working on solutions, because we're constantly changing, optimizing the delivery network. In logistics, we're looking for lowest landed cost. And just when we solve it, then there's changes in the supply chain, either at the demand side or the supply side.
All right.
A solution that we had in the 80s, 1980s to the 2000s, it changed. And now in 2023, it's different.
Right. Yeah.
A startup supplier who started making their product in their garage or on their table, they started with something where they're shipping on small carriers or delivering it to themselves. But as they grew, they had to come out of their garage. They had to start with a different carrier size, maybe do something different with warehouse and inventory. I'll do the same thing as we saw, Andy, with Walmart, a startup retailer. Sam Walton, in the very early days, he even picked up some of his product in his station wagon.
Yeah.
Now, he'd pick it up. He would take some extra inventory, put some inventory in stores, put some in his garage in his early days. Then as Walmart grew, the logistics for the solutions changed. The company went into building warehouses and expanding those from out of Bentonville to Searcy and Palestine, Texas, and so on. And then said we should have our own company-owned trucks. And so that truck fleet, the warehouse fleet, became the logistics competitive advantage in the marketplace when they're competing. So there's an evolution there. Logistics in the supply chain was less complicated in those early days.
Right.
We have a manufacturer going to a distribution center to a store. It's pretty easy. We didn't have omni anything. We had single, right? Single channel kinds of things. So, but today with Omni, it means, yes, there's multiple things going on, additional nodes for inventory, management, transportation.
Well, you've laid a great foundation of what we had and where we've been. And so as we think about, and you gave great examples about where people are, today in these startup organizations and people still are doing things out of the garage today or in a coffee shop, you name it. And it's so exciting what's going on today with new products and innovation and consolidation and the change process. So what we want to do now, Perry, is that to dive a bit deeper, if you will, and focus on where we are today. And so if you're out there and you need logistics, and no matter what size of where you are in size of your company, talk to us about these components, what we're going to call components within the Omni-Channel process.
Well, first of all, think of a couple of components. One will be speed to serve, another will be the channel, the product flow. But let's talk speed first, because that's really the thing that's kicked off for us. So it's not just about online buying. When we think about Amazon beginning, they just, you could order something online, and then days later, a week later, you'll get your order. That's the early Amazon business, and then everybody would copy some of that model. But then what happened is the customer, Amazon, began to get faster, quicker. And again, the model's always changing. So it is about the speed of service, first of all. The fastest service evolved to appease what customers were asking for. And to compete then with your retail competitors, it's always evolved. And so where it became weeks to days, now same day, now it's hours of delivery, just past the drone delivery station, right? So all of these different kinds of things continue to evolve. And then with that side of it, you then also have to think about, as your speed grows, you start working backwards to figure out how to provide that at the lowest landed cost. And we think about that a lot in our retail world, of how to be low cost, not only from the store to the customer, but as we back that up in the chain, back through our distribution centers, back to suppliers of manufacturing. We think about, can things be on a truck that's coming, a full truck? Should that be on intermodal, which may save me 15 to 30% of my truck cost, way up in the work stream? And then how do I handle it? Where are we going to consolidate freight along the way? Consolidation can take cost out of the business as well. Reduce up to 30% as we think about, again, speed to serve, but I'm trying to get my inventory then as close as I can to my customer. How do I get it to as close, as cheap as I can? There's things to think about. So again, this fastest service has evolved to, yes, I want to be fast at the final mile, but then how can I be cost effective on the front end? The second part of that would be this channel of flow. Am I shipping product from my store directly to my customer? Do I ship it from my warehouse to the customer? Do I use a retail chain? Do I use it myself? Do I go direct to home or direct to a store where somebody can pick it up? Again, that picks up the components of Omnichannel, of which channel I'm going to ship it in. But all of that is a cost model that we have to figure out what that might be. It's a challenge for us for sure.
Right. Well, I think as your customers look at the supply chain needs, or to improve their supply chain as they grow their company. So it's great that your company, Hub Group, is focusing on cost and speed and looking at how to save them money, because as we know, that is passed on to that product. I did something this morning on I've seen an item that I thought I really needed, and I went on Amazon and I found the item. I ordered it. To my surprise, it's coming today. And I was just reading how Amazon is expanding their distribution center in Northwest Arkansas, how they're doing all these things. But that's the first time speed has played a part in my decision. Before, I knew it'd be 2 days. But when I looked at that and it said today, I actually needed that today. But then it exceeded my expectation because I wasn't expecting it. And then this item will be there, and it's no different than the Walmart model, the drone situation. They don't deliver in my neighborhood yet, the drone, but I've been in some of my friends' neighborhood. I think it's pretty cool when that thing comes down from the drone, but that is really the demand of customers today, isn't it?
It really is. And we, as retailers, we didn't realize that. We didn't expect that customers would pay for the service or want the service. But we found out there is a need for the service. And that's where Walmart has evolved to delivering out of their store, same day. You can, and that's where the inventory is and the product. And if they have it, they're certainly going to be able to deliver it. But now you have this other online competitor working out same day too to compete in that same space.
Right. So speed and product flow, critical. Great points. Thank you for those. So let's continue our discussion. These are very good, and of course, I can tell you're passionate about what you're doing, and your expertise is really coming through, Perry. Thank you. So these these changes that you've talked about provide challenges to our suppliers and the retail networks. So again, tell us these challenges. Talk as we have a lot of our audience are suppliers, no question, that are listening. So tell us about their challenges and work us through that.
Yeah, we're going to start first with just being focused on where is the inventory and how much. To your example of getting something same day, that inventory has to be close to you and be able to be delivered in a timely way to you. It can't be halfway across the country and essentially make it same day without some really special things happening or a lot of cost involved with that. Again, you want to be balanced with cost and service for what you're doing. So where and when is the inventory? Questions about where am I going to hold it? What's the quantity that it hold? Which items should I hold close enough to the customer? We have size, shapes, flavors, all those different things. And which one are you going to replace? You can't have, maybe not, you can't have a warehouse on every neighborhood corner to replenish out of. So whenever you're making those decisions, it's going to have to be something special. We're going to have technology that's going to help us manage that inventory. Again, back in the old days, you had an inventory in a regional DC, replenished a store. This one, you've got to get closer to the customer. So that's a challenge of managing the inventory, number one. The second one is the amount of returns has continued to grow over and over as this online ordering has increased. Then now we have opportunities for those reverse shipments. And that's a whole growing industry in and of itself when we think about Omni-Channel. Is just the challenges of how to get this return back to a store, to a warehouse, and those. And then we need to make sure as supplier base is that we've got both options out there. Who needs a premium service? Who needs low cost? And how do we blend that? So understanding that and providing the option for an extra day or two. If you had an option that you made today, a fast, or a day or two at a savings, at least give you, the customer, the opportunity to make that selection.
Well, I think that's important. And same thing happened at Sam's Club yesterday. I'm there, the store I shop in Fayetteville. They carry the coffee I like. That's it. And I'm working with you today, so I don't have time to go by there. Went online, and it's going to be delivered to my home today, the next day delivery. And again, that is the world we're in. And when it all works, and of course, Sam's, they're shipping it out of their store, so the good thing, Walmart is figuring out how to use their stores as a supply chain process, in the supply chain process. So you're right about these challenges that you have. So what does it look like when it works? From your chair in logistics, how do you see it?
First, I believe it begins with the customer. We're giving the customers the opportunity to make the selection, speed or savings for slower delivery. As a retail company, we're giving that option to our customer, but then we have the store, the locations, or the inventory set up for speed or those change in ways to deliver. As a manufacturer, do we have inventory and product that's built for speed, timely delivery through the channel, or do we have items that will take a slower path at a lower cost? So we have each of our components that are then set up for the success of each of those particular channels. Again, when we optimize the cost side, we will be considering consolidation. We'll be considering an intermodal option versus full truck or same-day delivery. We know that when we get a package at home of same-day delivery, we've ordered something overnight, we know that there's a higher cost to that.
Right, correct.
When we lower down and say, we'll take something in a few days or even next week, we know our postage cost is going to be less. Same way in the supply chain for all the product that comes. But for each of our segments that we serve, we need to make sure that our speed matches what the customer's looking for. in that the customer has the options, and they have an easy way to navigate. If I have my mobile device, the fewest clicks, the reorder of what I've ordered before is helpful. Today I ordered a pizza. I have a reorder there for exactly how I built it. And when I want to pick it up, I hit that button, and I don't have to go through selections again. I hit one. And then being stress-free, knowing it'll be there, ready, or delivered, ready, then I'm in good shape.
You're right. It's there's such convenience today in ordering and reordering and what I've bought and all looking at. So let's say this. Okay, let's say there's a retailer and supplier, and if they come to Hub Group, Perry, and they want to develop this effective strategy. So how does that work with Hub Group? What they call you up, and we're going to make sure people have your contact information. But I will tell you, there's people out there listening, watching us today. They're like, okay, what do I do now? I've grown. I'm this size. It's not working. It's not fast enough. It's too expensive, or whatever. So how does your process work at Hub Group?
You're right. It begins with collaboration. Let's make the phone call. Let's begin talking. What we found in the past, as we get those calls and work through those situations, we find out that supply chains have become siloed. Each entity is doing what maximizes their P&L. Maybe a warehouse operation is doing what's best for, let's say, their labor. They're only open certain hours. They only receive and ship at different times. We find out, or their truck yard is small and it doesn't accommodate a lot of drop trailers, ability to preload. There's a lot of solutions around this entire supply chain, yet a warehouse division may silo what they do. A carrier or trucking company might silo, make efficiency just for what they want to do. A retailer may put guidelines around certain things to service them in a fashion that is just what they want to do. When we break down and bring all those parties together, figure out the optimum solution for the time, we really can find something that makes a supply chain different than maybe what their competitors doing, or what a challenger that's coming to their industry is doing. We want to line that up, but it starts with talking. It starts with bringing down those barriers, not operating independently, but together. I also don't like to ship I call it air, half a truck. I want to ship a full truck in my supply chain. I don't necessarily like retailer fees today. I see that a lot of them that get placed into our supplier base, and I think our suppliers would cheer for this. A lot of that cost just gets built back into cost of goods, and at the end of the day, the customer's going to pay for it. But if we're collaborating and thinking about it and taking down those barriers, we'll figure how to deliver on time and the right product at the right time. And we won't have fees that are built into the cost of it. So there's a number of different ways to create the right kind of network. I'd probably talk about it additionally this way. First, let's set up a network that is the right network to supply our inventory chain and our inventory flow. That begins an analysis of what we're shipping and who we're shipping it to. Number one, let's come up with the right network.
So that's step
location.
One. That's step one. Okay, good. So you're gonna figure that out with that supplier and that retailer. Okay,
exactly. And that takes you get math involved, and you get your demand involved.
Sure.
Where am I going to put my warehouses? Where am I going to put my consolidation points? How am I going to ship product together so we build full trucks? Right. Two, we're going to figure out our inventory and our planning and make sure that we have a system that's going to manage our inventory flow. We talked about one of the biggest challenges being inventory and where it's at, where it's held. But this one is we need the right system that's going to help us say, does that inventory need to be down at our store level at a DC, and how I'm going to service that customer? Is it in the right location for speed and convenience? Are we holding it at the right places? Make sure, again, our trucks are full. and that our delivery windows are not too tight. So that'd be the second thing, is this inventory system that manages that. Number 3, so we have locations, we have the inventory that's being managed correctly. Number 3, we want to analyze the product that we are shipping through. Let's make sure that it's shipping in the right flow channel. And with that, I'm talking about how much of our product is shipping expensively in parcel or overnight, how much of it is shipping less than truckload or LTL. That's a next level of high cost. How much can we get into a consolidation channel? Use an intermodal truck that's helping us on an option that again can provide high service at a few days difference. But if we're able to take all the data we're shipping and analyze what we're doing today, we can again optimize what we're doing. That's step 3. And then 4 is about enabling the capabilities of that network to make sure that we are servicing the customers that they need to be, how they need to be serviced. Are we getting the right cases or pallets of merchandise to wholesalers, distributors, when we're shipping to them as a business versus to an individual and to their homes? Likely, when we get through all of those steps, we may have to retrofit some of the supply chain.
Sure.
You know, the DC and Walmart DC in Searcy, Arkansas today is much different than it was when it was built in the late 70s, early 80s, right? The automation of the facility, the layout, the product that's in there. But if we continue to retrofit our supply chains, work on it together, we're going to be successful.
Perry, again, thank you so much for those critical 4 points. And I will tell you what we're going to do. Because these 4 critical points are so important to our retailers and suppliers, we're going to post those on our website with this podcast, Perry, and we'll lay those out as you've laid them out in detail. And then they have any questions, they can review those as they work through their own strategies or as they prepare for a meeting with you, in your company. So thank you for those. We really appreciate that. So why don't you do this? Let's just sum it up, okay? It's been a great conversation. We've gone back as some history. We've come all the way to today. It's exciting what has happened in this supply chain business, and now how the integration of supply chain and omnichannel is serving the customer today better than we've ever been served. And just like the examples that you have talked about, I have talked about today. So sum this up for us today, Perry.
And let's make this easy. So as we just make sure as we walk away from it, we're using the right transportation mode in our supply chain. We're flowing through the right path that we should be flowing. And let's have our inventory in the right place to serve the customer quickly or at low cost. So really easy things, but let's go out there and get them implemented, right?
Okay, well, you know, that's how we do it at Walmart. It's all about execution, isn't it?
Yeah.
We never talked about stuff very long. We just got it done, didn't we? And so, Okay, so again, what a great conversation, Perry. I want you to know how much it means to us for you to be here today. It is so good, my friend, to reconnect after all these years. I want to thank you for everything you've done at Walmart and all that, and I'm so excited about your continuing career and the impact you're having today. So how do we reach out to you? And we'll also post this on our website, but tell us how we reach you.
Thank you. Yeah, it has been great to reconnect. You know, the relationships are the most key as we continue in this ecosystem in Northwest Arkansas, right? Have a great supplier base, university base, Walmart base, retailer base, carrier base. It's fantastic. So anybody can reach me, certainly through my Hub Group email address, pjohnson@hubgroup.com. And certainly hit me on LinkedIn as well. And happy to serve.
Great. Well, I want to thank all of our guests today for watching, listening, and you can find us at all your favorite streaming places, Apple, Spotify. But I want you to go to our website, dbbnwa.com. That's where all this is going to live today. And not only will we have this podcast, but all of our podcasts will be there. Tremendous articles that have been written for your education and learning around Omni-Channel, supply chain. This information, as Perry talked about, these top 4 will be there. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much.